All right, guys. Welcome back. Hope you guys had a great weekend and did some research, some studying. I know it's Christmas week, so some of you guys, well, all of us, we have some family plans or whatever it may be, friends, and I hope you guys have an amazing one. But obviously, the Omicron virus, we're getting a lot of news over the weekend, especially from the Europe side. A lot of closures are happening and whatnot, right? So, well, our question is, when things go around in the world, something happens, you know, our job as traders is how can we take advantage of those things happening around the world, right? Good or bad. There's nothing wrong with that. We're traders, it pays our bills. We do this for a living, and we trade our time for it, right? We either long, go long, buy something, or we sell something. So it all depends. But with the new Omicron, there's some names that we'll go over that might have the potential to run this week, right? On Friday, we had one named Zoom, which it was pretty obvious, and then there was something else also attached to that play, why it ran, right? Peloton, T-Dog, Docu, these names had a great Friday that day, but we caught Zoom. It was an amazing one. Congrats to all the people that caught it, right? And on Friday pre-market, we gave you guys some notes. When we wake up, our admins or moderators, or if you're a regular trader, in the morning, we try to put as much work as we can so that, you know, we can help you guys out. And in the morning, in the pre-market, we mentioned that S&P will not be volatile, right? It's not that something I knew or anything. It was just the research that was done based on those certain levels in the market. You get to figure out, and it was actually on point. So the gamma report that we post in pre-market every day or in the premium chat, please read it, go over it, because most of the time it is correct, and it can save you from making some bad trades. All right. So gamma reports are they're prepared by Spot Gamma. They're very popular, right? And so I do recommend that all of you guys look into it. All right. Today we'll go over some charts. We'll go over the main indices first, and then we'll go over some individual names, right? And a weekly newsletter has also been sent in the premium chat from one of our admins, LB. Right. Do look at he mentioned some good charts in it, so do look at them, right? And if you guys have any questions, our T is also here for him. Any individual names, because I know he catches a lot of reopening plays and whatnot before the squeeze happens. All right, and so we'll get started. But first, I have the ES1 open here, which also known as SPX, and then SPY that we trade. Right now, we're about to break. There's a daily chart that I have. If we break the Friday's low and we hold below, we're probably going to open deep red in the morning. And I think the Nasdaq also went red just now, so that's not a good sign. So Dow is leading is down almost 0.5%. S&P is down 0.3%. Nasdaq's down 0.1%. It was just up a while back. And if I go on the weekly chart here on the S&P, right? This is not good. This action right here on the weekly. If we go on the week of 22nd November right here, on November 22nd, we had a nice little down week, right? And then the following week, it tried to recover, it failed. But then the following week, after about 6th December, first week of December, we recovered the entire move, okay? But then last week, we gave some of that back, okay? What happens this week now? Let's see. But this could be a potential double top unless we take out the high of, or we hold above this 4,700 level, which you guys all know on the ES or SPX. If we hold above 4,700, only then we can expect a rally in the S&P 500 into Christmas or year end. If we don't get that, then we might just chop around, trim around, just hover around, right? And if we take out the December 6th lows, which was 45.31, anything under 45.44. So I'll go on the SPX chart and I'll write these numbers down for you guys. All right. On SPX, the number is 45.44. Okay, if we break below this, then we are going to get some potential big downside move towards 4,200, 4,300. All right, then do expect this range that we might get, which is all the way here. It can take multiple weeks for it to come here. They can just hover around here, do this. There's nothing wrong with that. Then we just have to pay attention to individual names or the names that might run. All right, to the upside, we have 4,700. All right, to the upside, if we hold above 4,700, can expect a rally. All right, futures are not looking so good right now. We're red in the morning. We'll see what happens. President Biden is coming on Tuesday. So Monday, there's a good chance that the market stays weak and we dip because we don't know what he will say. All right. So Tuesday is when he wants to make the comments. I read something on Twitter. Somebody said, "Yep, he's making comments on Tuesday so that his friends or his whoever it may be, they can load up on the names on Monday." Right. So I don't know how accurate that will be. We'll see. But these are the two numbers we need to worry about. And then I'll go on the Qs or just tech. Same thing, similar pattern. We need to hold this range above here, right? This range right here, we need to hold above, all right, which is roughly 375. 380 was a number that was a must. Now, if we break 380, it's not good. 380 is a must hold. And for a rally, if you're looking for it, then we need 400 plus hold no matter what. All right, 400 plus hold is a must. And in the title, we also mentioned that we will go over rolling out profits. Okay. So that I'll do when I go over individual names, that how I personally would do it, and then also depends on how you want to do it based on your account. All right, so tech we have this, and then we have IWM, which is just disgusting. The weekly looks nasty, but if we go on the futures right now, RTY, I'll go here, and we look at the weekly chart. It doesn't look so. We were already the candles already making here. If we break this below that last week's low, which was 21,919. I'll actually just go, I would like a whole number as in thing. If we break under 2100, things can get ugly for IWM, okay? This chart looked amazing before November 1st, a nice little breakout, nice little breakout. It looked amazing, but it was unable to hold. I wanted to buy it the second week. Then as soon as I saw this action, I was a little iffy given the market conditions. Not that I knew, I thought it was still gonna go up, but I just waited, and good thing that I did not get in. Right, some of you guys nailed IWM to the top and to the short side. Congrats. But this on the weekly now looks like a bear flag. All right, on the weekly, if we end up closing below 2100 by any chance, this is sort of a bear flag on the weekly. And if we break this, then we have a range all the way towards here. And you know what? This can actually happen all the way towards this range right here, which is just near 1900 area. All right, and this will be really ugly one. And if RTY goes, then we can expect S&P and NQ to follow as well in the same week or coming weeks. All right, because they're also making a little toppy action, and they need to rest. They ran a lot, there's no doubt. So shift will be focused on individual names, and then we do have some great scalpers in the room that do scalp indices all the time. T, he always does a play almost every day, right? Goldman Sachs, he's pretty good. LB, he does it, right? And then Yash, he does it. And then we have some other traders who absolutely nail it, right? Turkey, he's very good with individual names as well, right? So these are the guys that you want to pay attention to, because if they match your trading style, all right? So these were the indices, guys, and now I'll just go over some individual names. But the names that I first want to go over, the 5 names. First, we'll start with Zoom, obviously, right? This was it's the MSL, my stock life chart of the week, right? We think it's a great chart, and also mentioned in the newsletter as well. Currently, we're near the weekly support here. All right, we're near the weekly support, which broke out in last year in May, June, July, after pandemic, right? Zoom, we all know why it became so popular. The reason being pandemic, people are home. They're, what are you going to use to communicate with your, it could be for work, it could be family, friends, it could be anything, school projects, whatever it may be. Zoom was the most popular one, right? It broke out, and then it gave us a nice little setup back here. Right, this is a very common setup. It broke out, played, and then it failed to hold this level above, and then they shorted it again. All right, here near support, they tried to hold it, but they flushed it lower as things were reopening. We have these positive news, whatnot, and this was trading at a very high P&E, right? Which is so you usually have to be careful with those names. But right now, Zoom on Friday, so let's talk about rolling out profits with this name, because this was a big name that a lot of people in the room caught this. Right, so on Zoom, I'm looking at the weekly chart here. We nailed this play. I'm just gonna go over here, rolling out profits. Now, on this, we bought the 190 calls. LB called us some different layers in it, and Boogie was trying to get in. He just missed it by 5 cents. T was also on Zoom. He also missed it by 5 cents, right? Unfortunately, but I think the entire room and many people in the market were on Zoom. It was an obvious play. And along with that, the reason Zoom went up, I'll just discuss that very quickly with you guys. I'll give you guys a little tip. Zoom had a lot of put open interest above $200 levels. All right. So basically what happens is market makers sometimes need to release that pressure when they have to pay back a lot of money. So the stock it wasn't only the Omicron virus that made the stock go up. Obviously it added to the buying levels, but along with that, sometimes when there's high put OI, let's say if there's a 10,000 open interest in a put option and Zoom, let's say a 250, I'm just going to give you guys an example. A stock is trading at a Zoom, for example, 190, and let's say 205 puts have a OI of 15,000, all right? Now by 12 o'clock you look, the volume traded in that option may only be 500, 600, or 700. But how about the other 14,000 plus open interest? That means someone's still holding, right? Or hasn't sold. It may be a hedge or whatever it may be. So there's good chances that they're going to make the stock go up to decrease the value of those puts. All right. And so that's how you can study those tapes. It's a little advanced, but I'm just giving you guys a very simple tip. It's up to you how deeply you want to study into that now. All right, and since we're on YouTube, you can rewatch what I just said a few times to understand exactly what I mean. Now, the research is up to you. It's going to require a lot of work and understanding. Now on Zoom, let's say you bought the 190 calls, right? 190 calls. We had them at $1. Now let's say on average, let's say we bought 5 contracts. All right, let's say somebody bought 5 contracts of this at $500 for the entire position. Personally, I went in with small size. Well, I was obviously more than 5 contracts, but I'm just taking 5 contracts as an example here because on Thursday and Friday, we mentioned pre-market that a big play will come. I did not know which one it was, but small size, something with great returns is going to happen. And you know what, my stock, like we proved it to you guys, we practically did it. All right, so it wasn't just talk, we put a lot of work into it, and we practically showed you guys, okay, here it is, right? All day I did not play anything else. I was just on Zoom because that was what was running. So we had the 5 contracts. Let's say you put $500 into it, and let's say your account size is maybe $15,000. Okay, $15,000 is your account size, and your account size always equals what? Your account size equals, when playing options, it's cash. You might have $500,000 in equity, but that is not your account. When playing options, the cash in your account equals your account size. Okay, so from 15,000, let's say you go in with $500. You want to take a shot for high return. This is still a big position, but you go in with $500, 5 contracts. The first thing I would do, as soon as my $500 double, as soon as my contracts go from $1 to $2, depending on the market, right, I will slowly scale out a little bit. Maybe I will sell 1 or 2 contracts here. Okay, let's say you sell 2 contracts. Okay, you sell 2 contracts. So you lock in $400 here, $2 times 2, right? Now you're only short $100 principal. You're holding a position worth $600 or 3 contracts, okay? You're holding this position. Now you manage. Now these contracts actually ended up coming back. So let me just go here. Let me go on the, so I'll go here. I'm just gonna go on the 5-minute chart. And I'm gonna show you guys what exactly happened with Zoom on the 5-minute chart, right? Why we scale out. And on Zoom, if I go on the 5-minute chart now, that day, so now I can't remove my drawings. But if I go on the 5-minute chart here, okay, so this is the morning. I bought Zoom right here around here was the buy entry price somewhere here, okay. The stock went up, and here the contracts, they doubled, okay. And by the time I scaled up, I think my first scale point was here. We did this live. It's all in the premium alerts or channel, or you can find it. But after that, the stock came down. My now options were trading at a break-even price here. And here I was watching it carefully. So here Zoom, this $600, the 3 contracts that I had, they came back to a break-even, which were worth how much? $300. Because I had already locked in $400, I was comfortable letting that play out, or maybe hold a stop around $1 if I had to, or 90 or 80 cents maybe. All right, that way I still lock in $100, $200 profits if I have to. But because I had scaled out, I was comfortable and I let that play out. And then it made a huge candle here. We were back up 200%, and now that confirms, you know what? I'm in the money. 190 is here in the money. My mindset right here, why I was able to hold Zoom all day, 190. And then as it went up, right? As it went up, and now this option, Goldman Sachs, if you guys remember, one time, I think 2-3 months ago, he did the session on this pattern right here. He did the session, and it just stuck to my mind. When on the 5-minute chart, after a rip, a stock makes these 5-minute candles right here, right? They slowly go up. They don't take it down. These little plus signs, right? Candles like this, they slowly keep going up. And then the 4th candle, which is a little bigger than all 3 candles. Okay, this 4th candle, listen to this very carefully. This 4th candle, which is bigger than the last 3 candles, that means they're absorbing sellers, and a big move is about to happen. And I even mentioned in the chat, I'm like, a big candle on Zoom is about to happen. I could have been completely wrong, but based on the study, something that I learned from him, right? That's exactly what happened on this candle. And then after I waited, I made sure that this candle's low was not taken out, or else I would scale out more. As long as it held above here, on this point, as soon as I started going sideways, I was able to scale out more Zoom for 200-300% again. All right. So now we go back to this chart, right? You have 3 contracts left, and you see that's in a great uptrend. Depends on your account. Maybe I would sell another one contract at $4 maybe. Okay. Now I lock in another $400. Okay. So 400 plus 400, right, equals $800. We locked in $800. This is already $300 in profits. All right, now in the market, we have $800, which is riding our 2 contracts, okay? These can go a long way and cover even more than this. Now you're comfortable. You already nailed profits on this play, okay? You nailed the profits on this play. Now you have 2 contracts left of 800, okay? Now, what did I do after? On the Zoom play, because of the Omicron, everything that was happening, I became confident, right? I'm like, you know what, man, this is a play that can actually continue going. I already have the 2 contracts that I have. My mindset here was that, you know what, I'm gonna buy December 31st calls now. So what I did, whatever profits I had, I took those profits, okay? I did it a little differently, but I'm just gonna give you guys an example. I took those, I took the $300 profits that I have, and now this 800 I'm riding with a stop loss maybe. These $300 profits, I simply bought, man, I don't know why this thing keeps coming here. But this $300, I bought the December 31st 220 strike calls. All right, they were going for $2 each. Okay, so here you have $300 in profits. Maybe you buy 2, so you buy 2 contracts. Okay, you put $400 in here, 2 weeks out. All right, now this is a different position altogether. Here, as the stock is going up, oh man, this Zoom. Sorry guys. But as the stock was going up on Zoom, I'll just speak so you guys already have the 5-minute chart. These contracts that I had, the 2 contracts, you know, the final scale out, I did at 600%, and then finally I sold them 850 a piece. So 850 times 2, this is $1,700. All right, more than all of this. This 5 contracts alone, if you scale out, you know, slowly, 1,700 plus the $800 we took earlier. Okay, this gives you $2,500. Overall, you nail from $500, $2,500 scale. That's a 500% potential. All right, that's $500 in profits that you make. All right, 500%. Sorry. And now these other contracts that you have, right? With those, what I did was, you know, as the Zoom was going up, I took advantage. I sold the 225 calls against not for all contracts, just some of them. I sold the 225 calls for 215, or I have to look around that price. All right, so I made these calls free and I turned them into a spread. For that, we have done another session that you can look on our My Stock Live YouTube page, and it'll make more sense. Okay, but I hope you guys got the overall point though. All right, and now on Monday I will manage these. I will make sure this does not go below my entry. All right, I will make sure they're already up. They're trading at $3 right now. On Monday, my job is not to let these go below my entry. As soon as these come back to 400, I'm gonna take that $400 out, and my Friday trade and this trade is totally over. And now I'm gonna protect my cash here. Now, another thing, our account now from 15,000 cash has gone to how much? 17,500. That's a $2,500 increase. Sorry, $17,000 less $500 principal. That's a $2,000 increase on a 15K account in one day. That's big. This percentage is huge. All right. And this allows you to maybe increase your size a little bit or to protect your gains. Now, on your next position, are you going to go in with $1,000? No, that's very foolish. Why? Why are you going to double right now? The goal here is to protect this $2,000. This $2,000 now gives you $500 times 4 plays. Even if you nail one play, let's say the 3 go to 0. Let's say 3 go to absolutely 0. I hope that does not happen. It never happens in my stock life. We always manage. But let's say I'm going to do the worst case scenario and still how that account is built here. All right, let's say it takes patience. It's not an overnight play. 3 go into, let's say 3 absolutely go to 0, or you lock in some profits, you break even, whatever happens. But that one play, you do the same thing that you did earlier to 2,500. Your account now has increased to 17,500. All right, now you can maybe increase your size to $600. All right, $600 times 4. All right, and the math just continues going on, so on and so on. And the beautiful word, my favorite word in the world, is compounding, and this eventually kicks in. Okay, and that's something that you guys should learn. It takes a lot of time. For me, it took me many years to understand this, and I'm just getting better and better every week in the market. All right. Personally, we've been putting in a lot of work. Boogie has been putting in a lot of work understanding gamma reports, and he's any call he's made, I think in the last 2 3 weeks, you were damn on point on SPX. So congrats, that's your hard work, right? And he can attest to it. And trust me, Boogie, I mean, he's nailed. So it's your hard work that you're gonna put into the markets. All right. And so with this, guys, I hope this helped with the rolling out profits. Please do mention in in the chat if this is helping you guys, right? So I know. And now I'll cover some charts on the for the week. Well, let's just go over with Zoom weekly on support, and I'm expecting this chart to get into this range right now, right? This range right here, which is roughly around the 240 mid mark. And tomorrow, by any chance, if we get a gap up on these names, given the Omicron and closures, I think they should. But if the future, if the market's weak, then they can open red also. Anything? Oh man, future they're dropping fast. Wow, that's not good. But anyways, so the mid mark on the weekly, MACD is resetting, and a lot of volume came in last week. My target on Zoom is roughly 240, 235. Not same week, it might take a week extra, but I see Zoom going higher. All right, and next chart is Peloton. Similar, it's in this range, sold off a lot. The name also hit 171, right? And a beautiful head and shoulders pattern on the weekly here, right? A beautiful head and shoulder pattern which failed. They tried not to fail it, but here it failed, right? You could have drawn a trend line here to confirm roughly right here as soon as it failed, right? And then retest here, and then it failed again, and then they sold on some recalls happened in this name or whatever it was, and then they completely failed it. Last week, a lot of volume, it got defended. Now, along with technicals, what we want to put here is the fundamentals. Closures, a lot of sports teams, they're announcing shutdowns for their games. They're postponing it if you are reading the news out there. And this name can obviously gain some attraction that people might jump back onto us, subscribe if the gyms are going to be closed. Then who makes money? Peloton will make more money, more subscribers, more people on their bike, all right, more product sales. So Peloton, my target for this will be 54. First number is 48. 48 first, and then pull towards 54. So this is a name that you can look into tomorrow or Tuesday to get in long, and it might run for the so it's just an Omicron play, okay? Basically for me, a virus play that has a potential to run up. It's at a very strong support level here, all right? And then we have T-Dog, Teladoc Health, similar in the health business, right? Closures, then obviously this company will also benefit. Is under the 200-day moving average on the weekly. And if I go on the weekly, a great support level, the target here will be around a pull towards the 50 DMA, the 200 DMA on the weekly, which is 118, all right? The first touch. And then on the daily, also a lot of volume came in, a lot of buying happened in T-Doc, right? And options paid well, whoever played T-Doc by any chance. The next target is right here, 118, which is also happens to be the weekly 200 DMA, all right? And so at the top of this range is my target on T-Dot right here in this area. So that's another name that's on my watch list. And then we have DocuSign, obviously another name. I think it's a great company. I use it a lot for my stuff that I sometimes have to get done, right? DocuSign. At a very good support zone from the earlier breakout in June. So all these names are Peloton that I went over, Zoom. They're at the price target trigger where they broke out last year, right after the virus hit. All right, and the squeeze was huge. And if this Omicron is as big as they're making it seem now, obviously with all these closures, restrictions in place, these names have a potential to run up a lot. And these are the names that you want to pay attention to take advantage of options. All right, increased volume, MACD is resetting, and this name has a gap fill all the way towards 232. And I think out of all the names, this might play out to be one of the best. Docu, so keep an eye on Docu, guys. And what else? Amazon, another name that might be helped with all the closures which are happening, right? People, this might be actually a positive catalyst for Amazon as well, right? Amazon on the technical basis is holding well. The only thing here is, it's a FANG name, it's a big name. If the market is weak, people might even sell these names for a while. But again, some tech names might end up running, who knows. Is holding the 50 DMA and just between the 200 DMA on the daily, on the weekly, again, just keeps consolidating for many, many months. The only thing here is, I don't want to move like this happening on this. This is possible on Amazon, a weekly breakdown like this, a fast one, all right? So on Amazon, if it fails these levels, if it fails 3350-ish, so 3350, if it fails, we can probably see all the way towards here on this, which is 3180, and then obviously 2900, 3000. This is possible on this name. That's the reason I say don't rush to play Amazon if you have a smaller account. Options are very expensive, and even if it moves sideways or takes a 5-10 point dip, those options go down by a lot, right? And then you get stuck. And so this name, don't rush into it. The numbers you guys already know. 3760 is the first number, and then 3775 we play Amazon towards 4000, which will be a very likely killer trade that we will do. All right, but for now it just needs to get above this 3500. So until then, stay patient, let it work out. All right, let's see how they're going to end the market this week. Friday we're closed, and guys, please do type in tickers on the side on the chat so I can go over some of the names that you guys are looking at. Henrique, you asked for FTNT, I believe that Fortnite or 40net. This ticker last week, this is not a good price action. It made put this in, and then a lot of selling volume was high, but on daily volume was different. The stock went up by a lot, right? Here, the only thing I can say is, if I go on the weekly, it needs above 335 hold. Okay, 335 were the high of this week, which was roughly 340. If it can hold above 340, this name can probably see much more. But here, they're clearly showing us or giving us that there are a lot of sellers above 330 area, all right? Or above 333, there are a lot of sellers here, okay? There's a lot of selling pressure, so for this stock to get buyers in, it needs to take out all these levels. So be careful with this name. It might be a great company, I don't follow it, but it can definitely consolidate or just go sideways for a bit, or even come back here, retest support, and then come back up. However, if it takes out this 340 hold, or 335, 340, if it holds, then it has to take out the all-time highs, right? Then it takes out the all-time highs, and then it can see much higher. But here, I would not play it. It's a very iffy zone, okay? Google, same thing. A lot of, I'm just gonna go over the weekly charts mainly because they give us a better picture on Mondays, right, or before Monday. A lot of selling pressure above 2,900. 3,000 is a very hard level. 3,000 has become a legendary level on Google. And another thing that you do want to keep an eye on Google is that this stock ran up a lot for many, many months now. All right, since last year, it's just been running non-stop, went parabolic all the way to 3,000. And there's nothing wrong if this stock takes a rest for some time. However, if it takes out 3,000, we can see much higher, all right? But this support level at 2,600 is where I would play a first bounce. Now, remember on Tesla, we made a video, we even put it on Instagram, that if Tesla comes to 910, it will probably bounce to 930, and that's exactly happened, and that play ended up working great, all right? So same thing with Google. If it comes to 2,600, the low of this candle, which is roughly 26, so I'll write this down here, is a potential trade in the making, okay, if you guys want to pay attention. So 26, 22, potential bounce to 2640 plus. And if you catch this 20 points, it's a trade that you let come to you. If you catch this 20 points, you can literally bank 40, 50% on your options depending on how much time is left on the week. All right. So Google, that's why we'll wait until. And here, another thing on Google is, it's just in a very tricky place right now. All right. Oh man. It's in a very tricky place here on this support. If this support breaks, right, or basically a low of last week, if 28.24, so if 28.24, if it holds below, then we likely see 27.10 on Google. All right, that's a 100-point put play. If anyone's interested, cool guy Ricky, you said you're listening to it, so that's one that you can keep your eyes on, Google. All right, Brian, AMAT. Micron has earnings, so let's go over Micron first. Micron has earnings Monday, right, and this stock, based on the levels, I already have them drawn here. So this number was very hard, which was 87. So we need a solid 83 plus hold. If 83 can continue holding, we have 86 and 90. And we do have earnings Monday. Earnings on Monday afternoon. All right. Earnings. All right. So earnings Monday. All right, and then retest of 78 was possible, which they did not do here, but this was these are my old notes, I believe. Anyhow, earnings, and it's just holding above the 50 DMA on the weekly, and it could be toppy. We might even flush. The chart doesn't look too great because if the market is weak, then the chips are going to take a dive with the market. Right now, some guys I know out there saying that chips are going to run. This is going to happen, but they ran up a lot. If the market is weak, if they flush the market, chip names will actually flush a lot along with the market. Just know this. All right. However, if we take out the 83 plus hold and we continue holding above 83 and then take out last week's highs, if the earnings are great, then we can always see much higher. So the main thing on Micron will be the guidance and their supply and their demand. All right. Are they able to supply what the demand is coming in? So guidance and their forecast will be the most important part. Now with Micron, LRCX might move also. I'll go over AMAT as well. LRCX broke out here. It broke out, but is now retesting. If the market is weak, can it take out this level right here on LRCX? I'll just give you guys one number. If it holds above 715, there's no doubt 800 is coming, right? But 715 is must. Can it get this week, next week, after a month, after 6 months? I don't know when it's going to happen. 715 is a must on LRCX. Well, that's when the buyers will come in. But last week they sold it off. The week before that it was super strong, and now we need it back above 715 for it to go higher, right? And then this support needs to hold. This breakout support is a must hold. So the level that LCR closed on Friday is a must hold pretty much. All right. AMAT, same thing, right? It retested, it broke out, right? So it broke out of here, it broke out, and then just like the chip names the last month weren't too strong. And then, it's just retesting this level right now. So AMAT, Preston, same thing. It needs to hold last week's high. It needs to hold this 146. So 146 is a must hold. Must hold, and then it needs to take out 159. 159 plus goes higher. All right. In between, just play tight support and resistance on an half an hour, 1 hour charts. All right. But it needs the 159 plus, and then it can go higher. But 146 it should not. But if it does, it's likely going to go test 132, 133, which happens to the 50 DMA on the weekly. All right. And Disney. This is another stock that on Friday potentially could have squeezed. I think it did. Let's see. I went over this in the morning on Friday, I believe. And okay, so it went down. It just came back. Not bad. Indecisive move. Disney with the closures, obviously this can feel pain, but Disney I would not touch it until it gets 155. It's simple. Until 155, I would avoid Disney. All right. Until 155, I would avoid. And then if it does happen, if it does come down to this support, be very careful with it. If it breaks this 142, then we can see much lower on Disney. All right. Then we do have these gap fills in down below. Don't ignore them. These can be filled, and they can be filled very fast. Perfect example is bless you. Boeing, if it does not hold here, these levels, I have my eyes on it, then this goes much lower as well. Then they might sell off these names as well. All right. Jumia, just some names in my mind coming up right now. Keep an eye on these individual names if they go. Obviously, we need the small caps to be strong in order for them to go. Otherwise, they will fail also. Jumia, if you're playing, 12 is must hold on Jumia. 12 is must. Otherwise, single digits on the way. All right. So if Jumia is able to hold about 12, great. If under 12, then I just wait. Now the leaps that we have for 2023, I'm not going to average down right now. I'm going to give it a few weeks. I'm going to see how it holds. I just don't want to average down right now. I will see if it holds 12, and then if we do hold about 12.50, and then we might have a bottom here, and then we can go back up. All right. So I'm just going to be patient given the market conditions. If the indices were a little different, if IWM was strong, there was strength in there, then I would probably average down. But because the indices are weak and we don't know what's happening right now, I will probably avoid for now. Because I'll keep holding my leaves and let's see what happens. But if you're trying to catch the weekly or the 2-week plays small, then just go in with small size. The returns are great if you're on the right side. DKNG, On the weekly, trying to put in a reversal. It's a similar play to a Zoom T-Doc from its breakout levels of May, June. So these names just came down to the May and June levels if you guys notice the trend, okay? Zoom, they try to hold it longer and then they just completely flushed it. And this weekly bear flag was the biggest tell right here. All right, this weekly bear flag, they completely broke it out and a big flush. And that's exactly what I'm scared out on IWM. If this weekly bear flag plays out, then we have all the way towards this gap. 165 here. I don't know if they're gonna bring it down there, but anything is possible. We've seen it before. All right. Microsoft, another chart, which on the weekly is putting in a double top. If it fails to hold this 324 level, it's gonna go much, much lower. So 324 is a must hold on Microsoft, and then 334 is where you can probably play puts on it. This 334 is a very good number to play puts on Microsoft in my opinion. All right. And Nike also has earnings tomorrow. That was on my list. Nike has earnings tomorrow. On the weekly, a nice little double top. On the weekly, we have a double top here in the making. And this is, see these names, if you guys look up Metaverse, Adidas already made, what, like 17 or 25 million on their first day, I think, in the Metaverse world. These names, they ran up a lot and looks like they knew all this time that it's something to do with Metaverse. So the stock already ran a lot. And now I will just wait for it to digest and just relax for a little bit, right? And then we see how these names will play out. On Nike, I do see 140, 150 in the coming weeks, just by looking at the chart. I could be wrong, but on last earnings here, Nike had a huge move up. Is it going to happen every earnings? It's not going to. But Nike, I would be patient on it because of this double top pattern. All right, so Nike, I would just wait until 140 and see how it holds here, and then maybe play to the upside. However, on earnings, things will change. If it shoots up, then I will look to play puts as it settles somewhere in the higher range. All right, and so we did that. And Andrew's asking, pre-market prep and the spot gamma report has been very healthy in these crazy markets. Reading more info, how to soak in. Yes, Andrew, look up gamma. I think it helps. Well, personally, it helps me a lot, right? My mind's in a lot of places, but spot gamma report is one thing I do recommend everyone. I've been trying it out for the last few months, and it's on point, right? And how can you roll over profits without selling to a different strike if possible? Then you're not rolling your profits. If you're not selling, how's that a rollout? That means you're taking on two positions now, right? So I would always scale out first. You cannot roll. I mean, if you don't sell, you don't have any profits to roll out. Right? Let's say you buy the Zoom call December 31st, but you're still holding on the first position. Now all of a sudden we get news after 5 minutes that Zoom service went down, Discord is down. I mean, there's going to be a big red flush. Now you lost your profits that you had, and plus you bought an extra position which was in your account, right? So rolling out profits means you take some profits and then you roll them out, right? Without taking any profits, it won't be a rollout. This is another layer you're adding. Yes, I do that too sometimes, but then you have to be very confident on the play. You have to know or have some sort of information or have a legitimate reason why, right? And Apple and AMD, Bryant, yes, Apple. We had these crazy calls on Apple, but on the weekly, I mean, it's looks great. It's in a nice little uptrend, and I think it's just consolidate. Taking a move in, but if the markets are weak, expect lower on Apple. They will sell this thing off. On the weekly, it's simple. We just need the 180 hold. The 180 number is a very big number for Apple. If we can hold above 180, we likely see 190 and 200. So until 190, there's nothing but downside or consolidation on Apple. And if we get this retest on Apple and we see that the market's better, then obviously we can probably play to the upside from here. But don't forget, S&P, if it goes into the consolidation phase, it's going to last a few months. And you don't want to be stuck there. It's very hard to trade the market then. But Apple to the upside, it needs 180 minimum. AMD, another stock, amazing run this year. On the weekly, looks like it's a bull flag. I think if AMD can take out this 148, 149 number, above 149, we might see higher on AMD. But again, market needs to be stronger. Last 4 weeks, AMD has closed lower than the opening price. This week, do we get another red flush? This pattern looks like if it doesn't hold, it will be a big red move down towards 120 on AMD. All right, now this pattern, just by looking at it, I can tell you. Okay, so if we hold, if we get 149 and the market looks good, then this can probably see a higher. Here, I would not buy, I would just wait because the options are very expensive on this name given the increased IV. And then we have supply chain issues will crush Amazon again due to lockdowns. Let's see. Amazon's been working on this supply chain. It's very hard to say. Maybe for me, Amazon, I'm just playing levels. Above 3,500, it'll be good. Anything underneath, there's a potential if it breaks 3,350 and we close below 3,350 on the week, then 3,200, 2,900, 2,600 will come. And I will probably play puts on it then. But for now, the level Amazon's that is just a hard, it's a hard guess, right? And well, that was a good 40 minutes of a Sunday night prep. I hope it helps. In the morning, wake up early. It depends on your love for the markets. A lot of news will be out in the morning. Obviously, it's the Christmas week. If you had a great year, don't ruin your week. Trade small, right? Friday, the markets are closed. You don't have to force anything. Just watch, spend time with your family, get some rest for your mind. And unless you're crazy like us, that's a different story. But see you guys. Thank you for attending, guys. We'll see you guys in the morning for pre-market. And if you're watching us, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're watching, please do subscribe and share with your friends, family, anybody that trades. Thank you.